Hey guys, got some very cool assisted opening knives here today for review, and these are the SOG Aegis. I have just a plain edge, a tanto, and a black tanto. So these are very cool knives, and for several reasons. But getting to POU, or philosophy of use, these are probably primarily anything. They could really flex into any category that you want them to. These tanto versions could more specialize kind of in the tactical arena. Maybe a soldier knife, maybe a police officer knife, if they wanted a defensive blade. But then you get into maybe this knife, and it could be a very good EDC knife, or emergency defense, carrying it every day for EDC, and then you could defend yourself with it. But getting into the blade on these knives, it is a AUS 8 steel, both of these knives, and that's a very good steel. I've been very happy with it. AUS 8 is kind of a medium to high quality steel. It will hold an edge very well. It'll take a razor sharp edge. It's fairly tough and durable, fairly strong. However, really kind of its only Achilles heel is that it will rust. So they have kind of remedied that in at least these versions I have here with a very nice black titanium nitride coating, or Ti-Ni coating. And it's a very nice coating, very durable, rugged. It will wear off in these black versions, so if you're going to use these knives, you'll have to get kind of used to scratches and things in it. But it's a very high quality coating on there. It's definitely better than just like painting the blade. Okay, the grind on this kind of non-tanto version is a full flat grind, which I really like. It's 3 millimeters thick, and just comes to an absolutely razor sharp edge. Very sharp, hair shaving sharp on these. So very happy with that edge out of the box. The tanto version here comes in only combo edge, which I'm a little sad about, but I think that's what a lot of maybe the Leo guys or military guys want. So SOG's just kind of meeting the demand. This tanto version, it has a very strong reinforced tip, whereas this one has more of a delicate tip, which is good for a lot of EDC type tasks, but maybe not so good for fighting. So this provides that very good reinforced tip on there. Now, a word of warning if you're going to use a tanto for EDC, which it will function that way, is that this junction here, kind of where this edge and this edge meet right there, where in fighting that's a very wicked edge for slashing and things. In EDC, if you chop with this, or most of your use in EDC is slicing like this, and cutting things like this, which means most of your wear is on this half of the blade, right in here, where on here, it just works totally fine. You're going to eventually kind of wear out that junction, and it's going to be kind of difficult to resharpen it. So it's just a function of the tanto. And by the way, guys, this tanto is hollow ground, which is my preferred grind for a more tactical blade, because you get to keep some of this thickness in the stock up here, and therefore strength. Okay, the body construction on these knives is a non-steel lined Zytel handle, which some of you guys definitely want your steel liners, and I totally relate to that. I have some knives that I really love, like the Manix 2, maybe the H&K 14205. These knives both have solid steel liners in them. However, if you look at these knives, which both have very similar blade length to these knives both weigh 5 ounces. These knives weigh 3.1. So, you have to decide if you're willing to carry that much more weight for the extra strength. And I do believe that these knives will provide adequate torsional strength, adequate strength for most of the stuff that you're going to do with them. I don't feel that they're just, weakened beyond repair. They're definitely still very functional. and will do everything you ask of them, as long as you're not like batoning through logs with these. It is mini Torx bit construction, so you can take it all apart if you want. And these are assisted opening knives, which you've probably heard me kind of, say I wasn't a fan of before, saying that, a good, well-balanced manual knife is better than a assisted opening knife. And I'll stand behind that criticism of assisted opening knives, because I felt that they add weight, unnecessary bulk, and just a little weird to use. But these knives are executed very well. I'm a big fan of these knives. Has this side bar here, so you actuate your lock with this side thing. So that's very nice. Because my favorite locks are Axis locks and the Spyderco cage ball lock. So that's what I carry most of the time. So it's easily transition for me to just go to this because it's still on that side. But one word of warning I will give you, if you're left-handed, is that these controls do not go over to the left side. The lock here, and this is the safety right here. Which I don't really feel is necessary. I don't think that this knife would ever open in your pocket. If you want to disable this safety, you just put it in the off position, and then put a little dab of super glue in there, and that will deactivate the safety. And what that safety would do is when it's closed, you put that safety on and it won't open, if you were afraid that this would open in your pocket. I've never found that to be true. This pivot is adjustable, and I have found that there's just a little bit of side-to-side blade play. Up and down there's none. There's just a little bit of side-to-side, and I think that that's just a function of the assisted opening mechanism. I think it has to have a little bit of that in it to function properly. And what makes me say that is that I know in automatic knives they do too. In like the out the front knives, those definitely have to have a little bit of wiggle in them, because it's a spring that has to push that out, and if there's too much friction on it, it can't do it. So if you get these knives, you may have to just kind of decide that you'll allow just a little bit of side-to-side play. It's not a lot, but I mean, you can feel it if you want to. The ergonomics on these knives are very, very good. It has kind of some jimping down in the Zytel, down in this finger troil here, which I really like. It's not totally aesthetic like a lot of Zytel jimping. It really fits in there and feels very good. It feels the hand very well, and it is a bit thicker handle, so it's not going to be super slim. However, that thickness really helps fill the hand. I have smaller hands, but I definitely think this would be comfortable if you had larger hands. There is jimping on the spine here, and it's very good jimping. Now the jimping on the Tanto version and on the non-Tanto is different. And there you go. I mean, this stops right here. It's a little bit different design. This goes all the way flat top here. I prefer the Tanto's jimping. However, this still functions fine, and it still locks in adequately, that you're not going to have any forward movement of your hand in a piercing attack. So, very good in those respects. It is adequate in reverse grip. It's not excellent in reverse grip, but it would definitely do the job. The clip on these knives is definitely a very good clip. I really love the clip on these. It's that same SOG bayonet style clip on there. It is right and left hand reversible, and it is tip up only, which I prefer. And it'll really bury very deep. It is more of a blackened clip, which I prefer satin silver, as you guys have heard, but I really like black too. What really ticks me off more than anything is just shiny silver, as I mentioned here in the Manix 2 review. So definitely good clip, and if they're going to try to sell this to soldiers and other people like that, I think black is definitely a good choice. If I were going to level any complaints against this clip at all, I would say maybe that it's too strong. And I don't generally call clips too strong, but it's not really that weak, which is the definition of strong, I guess. But it's a very strong clip. and you kind of have to, you know, pull it out of your pocket with some force. But you're not going to lose it, so definitely a good clip. I'd rather it be too strong than too weak. Other versions or colorations that this comes in. It comes in many colorations and versions. It comes in a black-handled plain edge, non-tanto, with satin finish. Now I have heard from the Nut and Fancy review update thing that the satin finish jimping is not as sharp. But so they do have satin finish. They have a black handle with the non-tanto blade. So there's several versions out there, so you can really kind of get whatever you want. The weight on these knives, as I have mentioned, is 3.1 ounces. So very lightweight knives, very carryable. And if you're a soldier humping around, you know, lots and lots of gear, you'd really appreciate that light weight. You don't want to carry around more weight than you have to. Okay, price on these knives is around $60 to $65. $60 to $70 really. So that's not super cheap, and but it's not outrageous either, and that puts it in some interesting competition. Now, there's not a lot of knives out there that are non-steel lined like this, so that kind of makes them pretty unique. However, if you're looking in this price range, the Spyderco Endura is in that price range, and that has steel lined handles that are skeletonized. So if you want that, you can get it, and that's in the same price range. So maybe look at that. And maybe the Flash 2 by SOG. That's gonna be a little bit less cool factor to it, a little bit less tactical. But if you're just looking at EDC, it's a cheaper option. So there's some competition out there, but these are definitely pretty unique, very cool knives. So see you guys. Just wanted to bring these to you, and bye.